A1, A1, A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer too.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the show that's cool and fly too. A1 Forever Sports. Chris Tipmore here. And be generational because it's always time to be. And why settle for less when you can always have more with a vision? And right now, I am having technical difficulties with my camera, but I will be online here in a few minutes. I am working it all out. Welcome. If this is your first time, please subscribe and help me get out there into the YouTube universe, the YouTube algorithm, so they can get my content as I drop it. We talk about Atlanta Hawks here, Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Braves, just Atlanta sports, and sometimes other sports as well. Other teams, all that good stuff. So A1 Forever Sports is the place to be. You just never know what's going to drop here. But I want to talk about 5 takeaways from the Atlanta Falcons Detroit Lions game. And before I get into that, I want to talk about Troy Anderson. Troy Anderson, is a good possibility that we may have lost Troy Anderson for the season. Troy Anderson, who had 8 tackles, 5 assisted. He was all over the field. He was flying all over the place, guys. And it is very, very terrible to possibly lose Troy Anderson at a position that we already had questions about. Most of us already felt that it was a weak position as far as depth goes. Now, if we have lost Troy Anderson, it just adds further to that. Maybe someone will be elevated from the practice squad. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a signing. Either way it go, I'm hoping for good news for Troy Anderson, as it is not final. But he was seen in a sling yesterday. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to transpire with Troy Anderson. I'm just hoping for nothing but positive news, as that's exactly what the Falcons need, positive news. So now, like I said, man, 5 takeaways from the Lions game, man. This is really just my reaction, man, how I feel the game went for us and just takeaways from it. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. We're about to get started here. Give me a quick moment, as like I said again, I am getting my video here together. I want to say shout out to the Detroit Lions though, man. They came out and did exactly what they were supposed to do, and it was the best thing for them, best situation for those guys. They showed up, they showed out, and that was the best thing for them. But they beat our Atlanta Falcons at every facet of the game. It wasn't pretty at all. The starters, they didn't help whatsoever. And for starters, it starts with our quarterback, Desmond Ridder. Now, Ridder, he was reasonably uncomfortable. He was reasonably uncomfortable in the pocket. He was pressured all the game. The man was pressured all game. After like the 4th time he was sacked, and that confidence, I just think it was just, it's non-existent. Right out the window. Now, hold on. I know Desmond, I know. This is like a extension of your rookie-ish type, it's an experience. I understand that last year, 2 of your games, Cardinals and the Bucks didn't really have nothing to play for, but we're gonna still take that W. But Cardinals, they were already tanking. They didn't have nothing to play for. Still was 2 victories. But at the same time, this is a new season. You had an off season. You should have had more time in the preseason, but it's all good. That's water under the bridge. We in week 3, going on week 4. But you have to play better, because you can't be overthrowing guys. You can't be throwing into coverage that's going to get guys hurt. Yes, if it hits you in the hands, receivers, you're supposed to catch it. But your quarterback can't set you up for failure and possibly for early or career-ending injury. So, Mac Hollins, Kendall Hodge, Bijan Robinson, they all, took hits that probably shouldn't have happened if better ball placement was available. That falls on you, Mr. Ritter. I mean, just going to be honest with you, I give you your props when you do what you do, but when you don't do what you do, I got to get you too. So, it wasn't all on Ritter. It's still, what about the line? Call me crazy. Because Drew Dahlman, he gave up a sack. He was beat multiple times. But Jake Matthews was beat a few times. Caleb McGarry, they even chipped a guy for him a few times. He's still getting beat. The whole line, overall, the line was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And when you see a guy who is lacking confidence in that pocket already, and you're not protecting him, I don't know what you want from the guy. I don't. You had guys who were beat multiple times. The Lions came into the game with 1 sack. And Aiden Hutchinson didn't have any. They left with 8 sacks. 2 went to Aiden Hutchinson, and he picked up a forced fumble. You probably could tell that from the thumbnail of this video. So, 7 sacks on a rookie-ish quarterback. Even the most rookie-ish quarterback, or just a quarterback with little experience, man, of course they're going to have trouble with that. How can they be able to focus and get the ball downfield or make just, plays like that when they're rattled? Ritter was rattled, and he's a pretty headstrong type of a kid, but he was rattled. Understandably. You got Aiden Hutchinson coming at you. You got McNeil coming at you. You got Campbell, Harris, Kaminsky, everybody's Branch. Everyone's coming. It's just like, what am I supposed to do? Speaking of Barnes, speaking just of the linebackers. Lions linebacker Derek Barnes. Here's a fun fact for you. He told CBS News, or CBS Radio, because it is a difference. He told them that their team, the Detroit Lions, their coach, Mr. Campbell, told them to get ready for the running attack. One of the best rushing attacks in the NFL, 4th coming into the game. But no, they didn't get that. Guess what they got? They got a whole different scheme of things, a whole different plan of attack. And Barnes just said, hey, look, after we were seeing what they were trying to do, we just adjusted, made them one-dimensional, and it worked out for us. But we came into the game ready to stack the box and take on this rushing attack. Like they was expecting 20 straight rushes and didn't even get 20 attempts. But why? Because Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algiers, they combined for 17 carries. 17 carries for 45 yards, and then had 6 catches between the two of them for 44 yards. Gibbs by himself had 17 carries for 80 yards. Gibbs by himself, Jahmyr Gibbs by himself had 17. But your 2 best options at running back, 2 of your better options on your offense, you don't use. You don't stick to what got you here. You don't stick to what you drafting for. Iron sharpening iron. You're getting Robinson. To add him with Algiers. I mean, what are we doing? I just didn't understand what we were doing in this particular game. Maybe I've heard people say maybe we were getting too cute. Maybe we was doing it. Maybe we was just trying to take advantage of mismatches
And that's probably true. We probably were trying to take advantage of mismatches. The Lions were beat up. That's the crazy thing. The Lions were beat up in this game, and they still was able to pretty much have their way. The game, they didn't absolutely destroy us. If you go back and just look at stats, they didn't destroy us. I know it looked bad on TV. It looked worse on TV, but it could have been even worse. The game was supposed to be had got out of hand even worse. But the defense helped you out. The defense did help you out. They held on as long as they possibly could. And only gave up 20 points. So you have a defense now who can play for you. Now you just need this offense to match it. You need this offense to match it, y'all. You can't have Drake London out there, your number one receiver, 2 catches for 31 yards, but his first catch was 28 yards. And then he doesn't get his second one until much later in the game. I know a lot of y'all were calling for Kyle Pitts. He did have 5 catches for 41 yards. Should have had more. Even though he was the lead receiver. Shout out to Atlanta Bird Gang. Tidy over there, he had a little stat. It was like a little over-under about what Kyle Pitts would get. I think it was like 31 yards or 33 yards, something like that they was expecting him to get, and he got over that. Okay, at least we got that then, huh? Shout out to Atlanta Bird Gang again, man. And guys, man, I'm about to get on with those guys, man. Talk some Falcon football with them in a minute, man, for real. But Brian Branch, the guy who almost took let me see what I want to say, who almost caved in Bijan Robinson's head because of a bad pass. Bad pass by Ritter. Shouldn't have been thrown. But Ritter, man, that man was out of his mind. The man was out of his mind by that time. He didn't even know which way was up or down, I believe. Man had been sacked so many times. A couple of those sacks look real bad too, just as far as like the captions and that I've seen, and just the still life photos that I've seen. Some of them things look really bad, man, really, really bad. But Branch, of course, he'll take that fine, or what? No, not the fine. Excuse me, the penalty. He had 11 tackles. They used him everywhere. The offense, they had so much miscommunication, so much lack of communication between the receivers and the quarterbacks, and it was just absolutely just a terrible, poor show for a fan to watch. It really was. Now, I definitely believe they're going to bounce back. I'm not worried about that. I have total faith that this Atlanta Falcons team is different, and they will bounce back. But it just was ugly to see, man. Ugly to see. The dinking and dunking, the lack of trust of coach and quarterback. I mean, he wasn't really letting them throw it down the field at all. And then next thing you know, it just seemed like it was just a cover 2, and they were just sitting on the routes, sitting on everything. They made us one-dimensional. These guys, it was nothing. It was just a complete nothingness. And that's just because you didn't start off the way you're supposed to start off. You tried to do different things. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't try different things. I'm just saying it didn't work. That's all I'm saying. It didn't work. Hey, man. It is what it is. But it didn't work. I want to move on to my second point here. Like I said, I got 5. Thank you guys for stopping by, checking out the video real quick, man. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to be a part of the A1 Forever family, man. We would love to have you any time of the week. And of course, if this is not your first time, welcome back to the syndicate, my loyal family member. For real, man. Help me get out here in this YouTube algorithm, man. pushing my content into the YouTube universe, man. Working very, very hard to help provide thoughts and point of views for you guys, Falcon fans and Falcon fans only. And I mean, if you're a sport fan, that's cool too. So my second point was something that I talked about with Out of Your Falcon Mind on my last live. Pretty much we was previewing what would happen in this particular game, or what we would like to happen. But one thing that I didn't want to happen ended up happening, and that was Sam Laporta. That was one guy, that was my number one guy that I was worried about. And he gave you 8 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Between him and St. Brown, that's 17 catches for 186. Got his first NFL touchdown. Completely beat Richie Grant. I'll get to that later on, trust me. But it was absolutely terrible, man. And I was worried about them utilizing their tight end more than us utilizing ours. 5 for 41, 8 for 84 and a touchdown. I feel like, it should have been flip-flop. It should have been reverse. I feel like we have a tight end who is light years better. Light years better, y'all. But it still didn't show on the field. Did not show on the field, and we definitely suffered for it. I mean, their best receiver and their best receiver and tight end. I said St. Brown and Laporta out there looking like what we wanted London and Pitts to look like. It just can't happen. The Falcons, they tried. Shoot, they gave Pitts, a couple of targets. He should have had more. Again, he pulled up on one. I know a couple bad placement balls a couple times. Offense as a whole was not on point. It was a struggle. Miscommunications, bad placement of balls, people getting hurt. It was complete dismal show for the Falcons, man. It's not funny. It's just I look for ways to smile so I don't get upset, because I don't need all that. And neither do you. You don't need me on here going, yah, 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 yah. You don't need all that. You don't need all that, okay? This is the show that's cool and fly too, okay? So that's my second point. They utilized the tight end way more than we did. And I did not want that because our tight end is better than most tight ends. It's only like, honestly, 3, maybe 2 or 3 tight ends that I feel like are right up there or better than Pitts. Laporta is not one of them. But he showed that he is a weapon. And he showed that, hey, Detroit was not crazy for getting rid of Hawkinson. Because Laporta's cool. Number 3, still not enough pressure. Guys, the Falcons had 9 quarterback hits on Jared Goff. So yeah, he probably needed an ice bath. But no sacks. And that's the killer with these all new upgrades you got to your defensive front. And we're not generating sacks. A step or two behind. I'm not saying they're not getting there. They're just not finishing the job. We're just like a half a second, a half a step, a step. We almost hitting home, but we just not getting home. Now just imagine if we would have had 9 sacks on Jared Goff. I'm just saying we had 9 quarterback hits. Imagine if we was able to get 9 sacks on Jared Goff. Would have completely changed the game. He'd have been out there feeling probably worse than Ritter. Seriously. Going into game 4, I will let you guys know this. The Falcons have 3 sacks. We're headed into the 4th game of the season. By the end of Monday night, the Atlanta Falcons could possibly be 30th in the league in sacks. That's a heartbreaker considering the fact of all the things that we have done to try to make this line better. Why aren't you getting some of your young guys some snaps as well? Arnold Abracady, Zach Harrison. I would like to see those guys on the edge sometimes and maybe move Calais to the inside right next to Grady and let him use those long paws. Use his hands, you know what I'm saying, maybe to disrupt a few things. He's been great in the run game, and Calais has been on it. But when we were just thinking about like third down, like for example, when Goff ran that quarterback sneak, he faked it and then just ran it in. He ran past Calais. That's not the first time we don't see Calais get outran. I would love to see maybe Zach Harrison or Arnold Abracady on a third down, possibly. I understand with the scheme and everything, it may put him in a weird spot, but you got to figure out how to get these kids on the field, man, because they got to play. They got to play, man. And the thing about it is, if you don't give the opportunity, how will you know? So I would love to see the young guys help out to try to see if we can generate just a little bit more of this pass rush. I love Bud Dupree. I ain't gonna lie, Bud been on it. Bud been providing pressure. He been trying to get there, man. He, especially in the Lions game, I enjoyed him too. But we have to, you know, get the young guys in there, the Timmy Horns and stuff like that too. We got to have an even balance and try to generate some pressure, man. Ryan Nielsen has got to figure out the sub packages, the right guys to put next to each other. I would like to see Grady and Calais next to each other on the inside sometimes. I can't say all the time because Calais is going to play on the end. I'm just going to go ahead and just ride all off in the sunset with that and be cool with that, because that's exactly what's probably going to happen. Okay, y'all. It is what it is. I ain't the coach. But before I move on to my fourth point, guess what, y'all? Guess where the Lions are now after that stellar performance on defense. Guess where the Lions are now? Tied for 13th. Not bad for a team that was tied for 32nd coming into the game yesterday. Not bad. Let's go into my fourth point. Again, guys, thank you. Thank you guys for coming by, checking out my videos anytime. I'm very humble always, and always appreciate you guys. Point number 4, and maybe not too many people are talking about this, but the Lions, they controlled the field position. The Lions had 6 punts. They punted the ball 6 times and buried us in our own territory so many times. A lot of times the Falcons starting from the 12-yard line, the 20-yard line, 18, 15-yard line. You know, we did not have good field position in this game either. Real quick, just off subject, shout out to Caden Ellis and, of course, Jesse Bates for having, I think Bates had 11 tackles and my man Ellis had 10. Of course, you know, INT by Jesse Bates as well. Third INT of the season. He had 2 in week 1, of course. And those guys, they were stellar as well. So I just wanted to quickly give them their flowers. But we were buried in our own territory a lot. And that's credit to the special teams of the Detroit Lions. They buried us there, man. Anytime that they did have to punt, they made sure they did not make it easy. They made sure that defense pinned their ears back because they smelled blood in the water. After like the second or third sack, it was just like, they're coming. And they're coming often. We got to figure it out. How can we do it? And at one point of the game, it seemed like the Falcons were starting at the beginning of the third quarter. It seemed like they had started to try to figure out what they want to do, get their act together. That's what it seemed like. Then they made adjustments again, made us more one-dimensional again. and we didn't capitalize. I know Young Way Cool, he missed a field goal as well. And next thing you know, I see the Falcons are trying out kicking. So it's just like no one is safe. You have to perform. We need opportunities to score. And we didn't have a lot yesterday. So we needed as many points as we can to give ourselves opportunities. And we didn't have that. We just didn't have that, y'all. Last point. Takeaway number 5 before I get up out of here. Richie Grant and Chris Lindstrom issues. Richie Grant has been struggling, y'all, to say the least. That I'm probably just being nice about when I say that. But multiple times he's been seen, I'm talking about this season, he's been seen out of position, taking bad angles. Just been something with Richie. Miss a tackle. It's been something with Richie. Just every game has been something. And teams are starting to recognize that, hey, when Grant is back there, we have a chance for a big play. The play where Laporta scored his touchdown was absolutely inexcusable. But hey, the Packers shouldn't have scored that touchdown on Trey Flowers and him the week before. He shouldn't have been missing tackles and missing gaps. Week 1, you know. So I don't know what's going on with Richie Grant. But I don't know if he's forgotten how to play football or what. But he just hasn't been looking good to me. And I hope that he can turn it around because he is one of our starting safeties. And if he can't, then we may need to start dialing back some of those snaps, seeing what Marco Helms is going to can do, or if he's not ready, or if he's not eligible to be covering people. We need to see what in the world is going on with Jalen Hopkins. Maybe you need to elevate somebody from the practice squad. You can't give Richie Grant forever because he's been singled out just like Trey Flowers somewhere in every game so far this season. Chris Lindstrom, man, since week 1, he's been declining. The PFF grades have gone from in the 80s to like 78 against the Packers, then to the 62 yesterday against the Lions. And it's not just grades with Lindstrom. He's just straight up getting beat this year. He's just straight up like sometimes just on certain downs, him and McGarry are struggling. And sometimes him and McGarry gets beat on the same play. They cannot y'all both they're going to pick a struggle, man. Y'all can't be, oh God. And it's just crazy because Lindstrom just normally averages 90s, you know, for his grades because just how great he plays. But him and McGarry cannot be an issue on that right side. Both of those men have been paid. I know McGarry, 3 years, 34. And I know he got $100 million man and pretty much in my man Lindstrom. You got to perform. This team needs you. This fan base needs better production. I'm tired of going into lives and seeing our faithful saying exactly what the problem is week after week. The line, the quarterback, the coach. Those are our topic of discussion all the time. But guys, those are my thoughts. I just wanted to get them out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if this is your first time, go ahead and like, subscribe, share. Be a part of the A1 Forever family. And again, if this is not your first time, thank you for always returning back to the syndicate. my family, A1, you know. Well, guys, until next time, peace and blessings to you. Why settle for less when you can always have more with the vision? Be generational because it's always time to be. And make sure you come back to the show that's cool and fly to A1 Forever Sports. I will be here. It's Chris Tip Moore. And until next time, y'all, shake it off, just like I am. I didn't want to lose either. I didn't. No one said we was going 17-0. But we're going to bounce back. Jaguars, coming for you. Until next time, peace and blessings to you guys, and I will holler.
A1, A1, A1. Yeah, truly, cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam.